is Ada Onianwah, aka Ada O, and I'm a radio and television media presenter. I'm Canadian, but I recently just moved to Lagos, Nigeria to expand my media career, and also a company that my family runs in Canada, Canada's first Black entertainment television network called Figa TV, and we're expanding here to DSTV, Africa's largest cable provider in Africa. Things became real for me about 2 weeks ago. Today is April 9th, so I'll say by like March 26th, 2020, things became real for me. I speak with my mom like almost every other day here, and she would like tell me like, Ada, you need to stock up on food, you need to prepare for the worst. And mind you, in Africa, coronavirus wasn't a thing for a really long time. Like that was like a Western problem. It wasn't really a topic of conversation. It wasn't really in the news that much. I mean, like we'd see news headlines from other countries, but for Nigeria, not really. So when she was like telling me like, oh, Ada, you need to stock up this, that, blah, blah, whatever, I was just like, you're being paranoid. Like, just stop. Like, this is not an African problem. Like, Africa is not dealing with that. Like, this is Canada, America, Italy, blah, 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 all the other places in the world. I just thought she was tripping. Like, I just thought my mom was tripping for the longest time. When Nigeria finally closed its borders about a week and a half ago, I was like, okay, that's a good measure and, prevent a rapid explosion of this virus here if we're not allowing people from outside in, because that's how it would come here, right? But lo and behold, Corona doesn't discriminate. It's more people to people, like contact to contact spreading that is happening here. So Nigeria closed its borders. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I feel like safe. But then there was rumors of like this lockdown. Or no, first it was a curfew. So you can't move between 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's originally what, I was told, I guess. And that quickly turned into a lockdown. And the time frame in which they informed people was only about like a day or two. So people were scrambling. From my perspective, it was majorly the middle upper class that was panic shopping, because I could tell you that the common local Lagosian or Nigerian was not panic shopping, and they weren't prepared at all. The first thing on my grocery list when I realized that the pandemic was a real thing was water. Not toilet paper, it was water that I was concerned about, because water is not a free or accessible resource in this part of the world. You have to pay to have clean water. You have to pay to have 24-hour running water in your apartment. You have to pay a lot of money. And you have to pay even more money just for it to be clean, so you can wash your dishes, so you can have a shower, so you can brush your teeth. So water was on the top of my grocery list just because of the way water is here. Like, the places where I'd usually go ran out. So that's what even like freaked me out more. So I was like going to like gas stations and like, these small mom and pop shops to get water jugs, as opposed to the major supermarkets that always have like so many on the shelves. There was now none. I think I was like 11. I realized that I started getting into that like mode, the panic shopper. I don't even like really using that because I feel like it's like a negative like consumer term, but that's just the reality when humans are scared. And when it comes into survival mode, they'll do anything that they think that will protect themselves and their family. I'm pretty comfortable if I have to stay in this house. I could live here for at least like 3 months and like not leave my house. As I mentioned earlier, I came to Lagos, I came to Nigeria to expand my business back in Canada, and it's affected the process of launching. This pandemic has just made it extra long, to be honest. Like, the whole world's at a pause. I can't do anything about it. It's quite frustrating because I feel like my entire purpose of while I'm here is kind of like put on hold because of this pandemic. But it's a thing like, what am I going to do? And living in Lagos is, as much as you would think it's affordable, it's not. It's still money to sit in your house for the common Nigerian. You know, everything's taken care of. I have 24-hour light, I have 24-hour electricity, water, security. I got my little internet, I got my Netflix, and I chill. But for the average Nigerian, that's not the case. To actually sit at home is quite expensive because a lot of people don't have 24-hour light. I don't even know why this country doesn't have 24-hour light in 2020, but that's another conversation. But to sit in your house means to pay fuel for your generator so you could have 24-hour electricity, so you can cook, so you can be productive, so you can use the Wi-Fi, you know? So sitting in your house is actually not really a feasible thing for the typical Nigerian because it's quite expensive. Not only that, Nigerians are hustlers. They go out on the street every day just to get 500 naira, 1,000 naira, so they could put food in their family's belly for that day. 1,000 naira is about $3 Canadian, okay? So they're out on the street hustling all day so they can feed their family. Now, what do you think happens when you implement social distancing and a lockdown to a developing country like Nigeria? People can't hustle anymore. People can't get their 1,000 naira, their 500 naira to feed their family. So people starve. But I would say westernized methods like social distancing, it doesn't work in a country like Nigeria at all. So they're going to need to figure that out because, God forbid, there's some sort of revolution or civil uprise that happens because people are angry and hungry and helpless. Like, I'm a very self-aware person, and I was like, yeah, like, I'm just gonna tune into myself, and I feel like I'm also battling with the mental aspect of the isolation and the fact that I'm also here alone. My family's not here. They're in Canada. I'm here by myself right now, by choice, but by force because of this lockdown. And it's borderline depressing. Like, I get really sad. I do. And I get lonely. So it's kind of, it's like figuring out how to distract my mind and not allowing my thoughts to consume myself. So I've turned to things like TikTok. Yeah, I'm like trying to be a TikTok star. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have Netflix. What do I think caused coronavirus? I've had phases about how I think this was caused. So at first I'm like, yeah, like a man ate a bat, right? Now I think about 5G. Well, like, not really anymore. All I know is that I need to stay indoors. And I feel like this is the beginning of the end. What do you think we could have done to change? Oh, I don't think people should be eating bats. And let's just say the 5G thing does stick and make sense. Think about the numbers where the most cases are. Italy, Spain, US, China. You think that they would bring 5G to a place like Lagos, Nigeria and try it out when we don't even have 24-hour electricity? Like, how would that work? How would that work? That's the reason why I did believe into the 5G thing for a bit, because it lines up. All these countries are more developed. They have the infrastructure to try out something like that. The funniest thing that I think I've seen in regards to the virus is all the memes on social media. I don't know. I can't really think of one. And they're so funny because they're like depressingly true. But it's funny. Where can people find me? You can find me on all social media at AdaO, that's ADAOHH. Thanks for having me.